Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, welcome. Today I have a barrel and a couple of parts for you from X2 Dev Group. This is some cool stuff. Stick around, check it out. So this is going to be the star of the video, and that is their Trident fluted barrel. But before I get into that, let's get into the Jackal X charging handle. So a charging handle is a charging handle is a charging handle, right? Wrong. The Jackal X charging handle from X2 Dev Group is different than any other charging handle that I've ever used. So how is that? Well, X2 Dev Group has changed the geometry of where your latches are, or where the handles for your latches are on this charging handle. As you can see here, most charging handles have a pivot point nearest the head of the charging handle. Now, while this has been a well-proven design for years and years, X2 said that they can do it better. And what they have done is they have moved the pivot point to the outer part of the charging handle. So what does that do for you? Like, what's the benefit there? A design like this, you know, with the pivot point being more centered, has been around for many, many years. Why change it? So basically what it does is it helps to avoid any sort of snagging of this charging handle on your kit, on your magazines and stuff like that, and giving the ability to unlock your bolt carrier group for some reason, because it doesn't pivot. You can't actuate and unlock it from here. You have to unlock it from the inside. Now, I have not seen any negatives or any downfalls to this as of this point. I have a lot of rounds through this barrel, and with this in the gun, I haven't seen any negatives to it. So whether or not you think that this snagging up on your kit is really a big problem or not, I can tell you that what they have done does potentially avoid that problem, and I haven't seen any negative side effects to moving that pivot point. Functions basically the same. I mean, you can one hand, or I have, with the scope over here, I have a hard time reaching it, but you can charge it one hand. It is ambi. You can charge it with the other hand as well. Well, that freaking hurt. I just ripped my nail open on the forward assist. But you can charge it just like normal. Again, I haven't seen any negative effects to moving that pivot point, and nothing seems to function very differently. All it does is avoid that potential snagging on your kit, magazines, things like that. Now, the next thing is the VF18X muzzle brake flash hider. Now, VF standing for vent forward. So this thing sort of acts like a sound forwarding device or a blast forwarding can, but it also acts as a brake as well. Now, the megaphone / honeycomb design of it allows for that venting forward of gases, venting forward of sound, but the outer holes around the edges does allow for muzzle stabilization, just like a brake would have. Now, it's worked really well. I don't have it on this right now, but I did a fair amount of shooting with it before I put my Rearden dual port brake on here for a suppressor, but it did keep the muzzle very, very, very flat. And unlike some brakes, I didn't have even the sideways concussive force that comes out of it like you do sometimes with brakes with these giant holes in the side. So that brings us to the Trident barrel. Now, this is their 14.5 variant. They have two other lengths as well. It is 416R stainless steel, nitrided stainless steel. And as you can see, there's something very different going on here with this barrel. Now, before we get into the flutes, I want to point out, I took the gas block loose, and I want to point out these pockets that they have for your set screws for your gas block. Now, this is their gas block and gas tube that they sent with the barrel. I've had zero leaking out of this, by the way, around the gas journal. But I want to point out that these have really nice location pockets in the barrel for your set screws. So again, this is a 14.5 stainless 416R stainless nitrided barrel, and it has these super deep flutes in it. Now, what is the purpose in fluting a barrel to this extreme? So what you have here is the ends of the flutes, the outside of the flutes here is the diameter of a heavy barrel. And so with heavy barrels getting much better accuracy, much less droop, much less point of aim, point of impact shift when you put suppressors on it. That is the purpose of the fluting of this. So they basically, what I have gathered is they've taken a heavy barrel and fluted it way deep to lighten it up. So you have a ton of surface space in the flutes. You have the rigidity of a heavy barrel, but you have the weight of something lighter than a lot of carbon fiber barrels out there, even though this is a stainless barrel. This comes in at 20.2 ounces for the 14.5 length. So heat dispersion is something they talk about on their website, and I can tell you that heat dispersion is something this is extraordinarily good at. And what I mean by that is a lot of times you can shoot a few mags with a standard round barrel, and your handguard will start getting hot and things like that. Your handguard starts getting hot pretty darn quick with this barrel. And while that may seem like a negative, what you're actually doing is you're cooling the barrel faster because of all the surface area that these flutes allow. And for those of you not following along, more surface area, better cooling, heavier profile on this exterior barrel equals better accuracy, less barrel whip, and less point of impact shift. So there's a lot that kind of went into this. Now, accuracy is something that they talk about being sub-MOA guarantee. I can't, unfortunately, report back that I've ever seen sub-MOA accuracy out of this. Of course, it's 14.5, so it's something that I'm not expecting a lot of sub-MOA out of, but I did get some pretty darn good groups out of it with some quality ammo, one of which the barrel didn't like much. So let's get into that. All right, the PMC X-Tac. We are at 50 yards. The Hornady Black. And the Hornady Match, last one. All right, it does not like the Hornady Match. Scope is tight, everything looks good. It does not like the Hornady Match, I can tell you that already. All right, so here's the 5 shots from the PMC X-Tac. Here is the 5 shots from the Hornady Black. That might have been me, especially considering there's 4 rounds and a half inch there. This is about 5/8 of an inch group, maybe 3/4, but then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It did not like that Hornady Match ammo at all. So the 2 good groups that I did get out of the 3, and then it is 3 good quality ammo, I think is perfectly acceptable for 14.5 at that distance. Is it sub-MOA like they talk about? No, it's not. But I've have experienced acceptable, what I consider to be acceptable groups with a barrel of this length. So prices to the YouTube censors, none of this is regulated goods. None of it. So I'm just going to give prices. I don't have to do the whole, I'm just doing it so that the customer or so the viewer can make the best decision possible, because it's not regulated goods, so fuck off. The charging handle comes in at $95 to $108 depending on what you're getting. The brake comes in at $95, so we're not too far off from some prices of some competitive prices of other things out there. However, the barrel is where the big cha-ching comes in at. I look at this barrel as that 1/4 horsepower that race car drivers look for, right? So there's a certain point in racing where you're getting as much out of the engine as you possibly can, then you do this little tiny tweak, this extra 1,000th off or on something that gives you that extra 1/8 or 1/4 horsepower that surely could win you the race. I sort of look at this barrel as that extra 1/4 horsepower for people that need it. So these barrels come in at $550. I know, most of you just clenched your asshole tight enough to make a diamond. But X2 also understands this barrel isn't for everybody, and it's not meant for everybody. It's meant for the people that really need that extra little bit out of their barrel, that extra little rigidity, that extra cooling capacity, things like that. Now, I do wish that that barrel had the sub-MOA accuracy that they claim. That would have made that barrel an absolute fucking rock star. I mean, 100%. But it didn't. Still had acceptable groups, but the rest of everything else that that barrel is supposed to do does very well. Before I go, I want to point out a couple of videos for you. They'll be linked down below too. KB32 Tactical, he did a really good job at showing the rifling using a scope in the X2 barrel that he has. I think he has a 16-inch barrel. I could be wrong, but go check out his video. He has a lot of things to say about it. And then the OG Danger Show video. He went to X2 and shot on their range, and they sort of upgraded one of his cheaper rifles that he owns. So I want you guys to go check out those videos well if you want to know more about X2 Dev Group. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. All the links needed will be down below. I appreciate X2 Dev Group sending this out to me. Yeah, it does a great job. I think everything about it does mostly what it's supposed to do. So can't ask for anything more than that. Don't forget to hit like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Remember to hit all notifications and leave a comment down below. What do you think of a $550 fucking barrel? Right? That's not me shitting on it. Just that's sticker shock for a lot of people. So I kind of want to hear your gut reaction to it. I appreciate everybody out there, and we'll talk to you guys later.